Hey friends, Laura here with Lalo Yoga and Wellness. Welcome to your yoga practice today. We're going to be focusing on hip openers today. This is a really critical practice because unfortunately we tend to spend a lot of time sitting down in our modern world. We're sitting, driving in our car, sitting at our computers, we're sitting on our couches, and so we really need to get some quality time with our hips to kind of open them up, loosen them up, and even think about how we store a lot of negative energy in our hips. And so it's a place we want to open up so we can kind of release that energy that might be getting trapped in our bodies. Let's get started. We're going to start our practice today in bound angle. I often like to start in this position anyway. It's a little bit easier and gentler to sort of ease your hips into it. You can have your feet in really close, you can have them kind of far away, but we want to put the soles of the feet together. Let your hands rest maybe on your shins or your ankles or the feet, wherever you can comfortably reach. And we're going to spend a few moments here just getting into our bodies, kind of settling in and noticing how we're feeling today. So you can keep your eyes open if you'd like, or you can let them gently close. It's really up to you, whatever you feel is going to best help you really tune into how your body is feeling. Taking some time to notice if we're feeling tight in those hips, or maybe even through the shoulders, you know, anything that is feeling a little bit stressed or uncomfortable in our bodies. So just let your mind exclude everything else and tune into your body for a few breaths here. Notice we're not trying to change anything quite yet. We're just paying attention to how we're feeling. Let's start to bring our attention to our thoughts, just noticing your state of mind. If you're feeling calm and relaxed, or maybe you're feeling happy, maybe you're feeling a little tension or stress, just noticing once again how we're thinking, what we're feeling, not trying to change it, just observing it. We start to bring our attention to our breath. Appreciating how it just automatically comes and goes through the body. You don't even have to think about it, it just happens. This breath is always here to be by your side. Let's start to bring our mind and our body into harmony with our breath. Feeling a little bit of energy as we breathe in, maybe sitting a bit taller through the spine. Then as we exhale, we let the muscles relax. We let some of that tension mentally and physically go as we breathe out. Inhale, sitting taller. Exhale, releasing any tension in the body and mind. Give yourself 2 more breaths right here. On your next inhale, let's bring a little bit of movement here to that breath. Inhale, reaching the hands high, blinking the eyes open if they're closed. Exhale, letting those hands drop, letting the chin drop. Inhale, reach. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, reaching. This time as we exhale, let's plant the hands down in front of us and come into a tabletop position. We want to start out making sure we can see the mat between our fingers. Our hands are right under the shoulders. We lengthen out through the spine, knees directly underneath the hips. Taking a deep breath in this time, we reach to the ceiling with our gaze, let the belly drop, let the hips lift. Exhale, scoop the hips, round the spine, tuck the chin, taking your gaze towards your thighs. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, one more time, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's return to our tabletop position. Bring your big toes together and your knees toward the edges of your mat. Set your hips back towards your heels to come into a wide child's pose. You can reach your hands toward the top of the mat, resting your forehead on the mat or a block, or maybe stack your fists right under your forehead. You could also be draping your arms alongside your body. Again, letting the forehead rest on the mat or a block. Try to find that position that lets your shoulders relax a little bit here. With each exhale, let your hips sink a little bit closer to your heels. Working to relax the hips a little bit. Let's bring the hands right back underneath our shoulders. Knees come parallel to each other, and we start to walk the hands back up the body. Come up onto the knees, take a nice big deep breath, reaching high. Exhale, coming back into our tabletop position. Inhale, lifting up through your left foot. Your foot is flat toward the ceiling. We're going to tip that knee out to the side and bring it a little bit closer to your shoulder, then your elbow, then your wrist, and straighten it out at the floor. Continue taking that nice big wide circle. Loosening up the hip. Let's go the other direction. Got to pump up these hips a little bit with some joint lubricant, that's synovial fluid. And on your next circle, step that left foot between the hands to come into a low lunge. We're going to bring our hands up on top of the left thigh. Keep that left knee behind your toes as you start to sink in just a little bit. And feel the right hip start to open up slightly. Let's make sure we're keeping the pressure of the hands on the thigh versus the kneecap. Keep those knees safe. Every exhale, see if you can sink just a little bit more. Take a deep breath this time, reaching the hands up high. Exhale. We're going to bring our hands down to the mat and extend that left leg behind you now. Plant the right hand and roll onto the right side to come into a supported side plank. Focus on pressing this right hip forward a little bit so we get some more hip opening here. You can keep your left foot planted on the ground. You can lift it. You can grab the foot, whatever you think your body needs today. And if you're holding onto that foot, let's release it. If your leg is still extended, set it down. Looking down toward the mat, we're going to plant that left hand and face the top of the mat. Step your left foot forward, this time outside the left hand, turning your heel in toward the hand and the toes out slightly. So we're at a 45-degree angle to come into a lizard pose. We're not super warm yet, so we're not going to sink too deeply into it. If it feels okay, you can walk those hands forward slightly and let the right hip open up just a bit. I'm going to take this left knee and let it drop toward the side so you're resting on the outer edge of your left foot. Let's not forget about our neck right here. Get a little bit of space between the shoulders and the ears. And then we plant that left foot and just bring the left knee back underneath the hips. Walk the hands back so they're right underneath your shoulders into tabletop. Let's take a round of cow and cap. And return to table. This time we're going to lift up through the right foot, keeping that foot flat toward the ceiling. Tip the knee out to the side, bring it toward your shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and then straighten it out toward the floor and start that nice big hip circle. Could always be on your knuckles if you want a little break for your wrists or your blocks. Let's take that circle around the other way. And on that next circle, step the foot between the hands. Let's walk the hands up to the right thigh and let your hip open up on the left. Right knee pushing toward the toes. Relax through the neck. We don't want to force anything here. This is just about gravity opening up through the hip. And on your next exhale, let your hands come down to the floor. We're going to step back on that right foot, sweep the right hand up high, reaching toward the ceiling, coming into that supported side plank. Same options here. Maybe you lift the foot. Maybe you reach that foot towards your backside. Your gaze might be up, straight ahead, or even down towards your hands. And if you're holding onto that foot, release it. If the leg is off the floor, bring it right back down. Let's bring the right hand down and straighten out the body. I'm going to step the right foot forward, just outside the right hand. Heel in toward the hand, toes out to find that lizard pose. Maybe walking the hands forward slightly. And then letting the right knee tip out to the side so you're resting on the outer edge of your right foot. Once again, trying to find that little bit of softness along your neck. And now flatten out your right foot. Tuck your toes under on the left foot and step forward just outside your left hand. Let's bring the forearms up to rest on the thighs. You can stay right here in this high squat or let the hips drop down. You might even be sitting on a block to give you some extra support. We can keep the hands out in front to help with our balance. Or if you want to challenge your balance, bring your hands up to your opposite elbows. And if you want a little bit more out of that malasana squat, you can put your hands together in prayer here and push the hips a bit wider. Give yourself a couple of breaths here. Lengthen out through your spine. And then wherever you are, we're going to put our hands down to the floor. and come into a wide forward fold. So bring your heels behind your toes, lengthen out through those legs, and let the crown of your head just drift toward the floor. Take the pressure out of your hands, so we're really letting gravity lengthen out all the way through our spine. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, start to roll it up, one vertebra at a time. Reaching the hands up high, come into a 5-pointed star. Bending at the knees, push off with that left foot to come into starfish. Land in the middle of your mat with that foot. Starfish on the other side. Land that foot right next to your left. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Little squeeze here through the glutes, gently pushing the hips forward. And as you exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale and reach. Exhale, standing twist, reaching toward the back of the mat. Hips pushing toward the front. Inhale, sweep that right hand down, pick up the left. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale and reach. Let's take that standing twist on the other side. Still working those hips to face front. Inhale, sweep the left hand down, pick up that right. Exhale, cactusing those arms, just a mini back bend, opening up the whole front side of the body. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hands coming to heart center. Let's pick up the left foot. So transfer all your weight into your right foot. Really find that contact point at the base of the big toe, pinky toe, and heel. And we pick up through the left leg to come into a standing staff. We're going to start to send that foot back and reach the hands down toward the floor to come into a standing splits. Maybe you use your blocks. Maybe you reach all the way to the floor. Both legs are long, and we let the head hang. Look all the way toward the back of your mat. Set the left foot down wide, and we plant the hands right next to the right foot and step back. We're in our lizard pose again. This time, if possible, see if you can keep that right leg long, the knee off the ground. Always an option to drop the knee, but maybe play with it, see how it feels. You could even be down on your forearms right here to deepen that stretch. We're resting on the outer edge of the foot once again. Inhale, sweep the left hand up high, looking toward the ceiling. If possible, see how it feels in your neck. Find that revolved lizard. And let's go ahead and sweep that left hand right back down, flatten out the foot, stepping into your malasana. And maybe we're resting up high on the thighs once again, or maybe all the way down to the floor. Same options you had before. Give yourself one more breath here. And if the hands are up, we put them down on the floor. Start to lift up, find that wide forward fold, heels behind the toes. Lengthen out the legs. Inhale, roll it up one vertebra at a time. Find that 5-pointed star. Bending through the right leg, push off, starfish. Set that right foot down, bending through the knees, starfish, left leg lifting. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, standing twist. Left hand reaches back. Sweep that left hand down and up. Cactus the arms. Inhale and reach. Exhale, standing twist the other way. Inhale and reach. Let's cactus those arms. Inhale. And bring your hands here to heart center. Shifting your weight to the left foot. Pick up your right foot. Find that standing staff, a little bit of balance here. And as we exhale, begin to send your right foot back to come to standing splits, reaching for the floor or your blocks. And then we set that right foot down, toes out, heels in. Drop your hands to your mat. Take a big step back left to come into your lizard. So maybe on your forearms, maybe you're on blocks. Trying to keep that left leg long, but always have the option to drop to the left knee for some extra support. Let's take a deep breath, sweep the right hand up high, looking toward the ceiling to find our revolved lizard. One more breath. And on our exhale, let's drop the hand down. Step that left foot forward. Last time, find your malasana. Maybe down low, maybe up high, wherever you're comfortable. And then we make our way to the floor for a seated position. We're going to keep the feet wide here. And bring your hands right behind you, fingers pointing back. Start to drop your right knee in and your left knee out. And then we come back up to the center and go to the other side. Just an easy windshield wiper here. If you start to feel yourself sort of walking forward, that's okay. Just reset toward the back of your mat. This is all about your hip mobility. So we want our hips to be able to move through the joint smoothly and hopefully with a decent range of motion. Now, if you want a little more challenge here, take your hands off the floor. And if you'd like even more challenge, you can drop down to both knees and lift up, push the hips forward slightly, come back down, and come to the center, take it to the other side. You might find that you have more mobility or strength on one side versus the other. You might want to find a little extra cushion as you come up. And you can always use your hands to give you that extra assist if that's what you'd like. So you can use your hands to come up, lift up, and open up. Just go at your own pace. You can feel free to stay right here. It's all about moving your hip through that joint. Let's do one more. And pause right here in the center. Bring your hands alongside those legs and start to roll back, one vertebra at a time. And we're keeping our feet here at the edges of our mat. Arms spread out nice and wide. Let's go back to the windshield wiper. This one's a little bit more passive as we start to wind our practice down a little bit. Arms are wide like the letter T. Let's keep the knees to our right. If you want a little bit more stretch out of this, you can take your right foot and just place it on the outside of your left leg. We're not pushing down, we're just using the weight of our right foot to add a little more stretch. If you want to get more twist out of this, you can also turn your head to the left and look over your left fingertips. If you put that foot on the outside of the leg, let's take it off. If your head is turned to the side, bring it back to neutral. Let's bring the knees back up to the center, and then continue that windshield wiper supported by the floor. This time we're going to let the knees point to the left, and you have the same options if you want them. Left foot on the outside of that right leg, maybe turning the head to the right. If you put that left foot on the outside of the leg, let's take it off. If you turned your head to the side, let's bring it back to neutral and bring both knees up to the center. Give yourself a couple more windshield wipers here. And then we find stillness in the center. Bringing both knees now into your chest, hands on top of those knees. Take that gentle rock side to side. Letting the floor release your lower back. Maybe taking those knees in a big circle. Pausing on any spots that feel tight or sore. And then we go back around the other way. And we take a pause here in the center. Deep breath in. Exhale and draw those knees a bit closer. Let's take one more. Let your feet come back down to the mat at the edges. This time our knees just fall to the center and we let the arms relax next to your body, wherever they fall comfortably, coming into our restorative pose. We can stay right here as we move through Shavasana, or we can extend the legs out into corpse pose, or maybe even lie on your side if that feels good to you. Whatever position you feel the most comfortable in and that you can really focus on your breath. Move into your body. Letting your head, crown, forehead start to soften. Moving that relaxation down around the eyes, into the jaw, all the way down to your throat, and wrapping around to your neck, sliding that relaxation down to your shoulders, all the way down each arm to your fingertips. We start to slow down the breath. Every deep breath in, maybe feeling a little bit of energy coming into the hips, almost like you're breathing right into that hip joint on each side. Exhale and releasing any tension that might have built up in the hips while we were working on those. And then we feel that relaxation slide down each leg, through the knees and the ankles, right down to your toes. We pause here to take as much time as we can in our Shavasana. I hope you can spend a little bit more time resting in your Shavasana. When you feel ready, start to bring some awareness and movement back to your feet, ankles, your hands and wrists. And slowly start to make your way back up to a seated position. Taking a final stretch here for the neck, letting the chin drop toward the chest, sliding that chin to the left, coming back to the right. Just keep making that side to side slide, loosening up the neck. Stopping here in the center, let's take a deep breath, reaching out and up, opening the eyes if they're still closed. Exhale and bring these hands to heart center. May you have peace in your thoughts, kindness in your words, and hope in your hearts, from my heart to yours. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed today's practice. Please feel free to join me at layloyoga.com. You can learn a lot more about wellness and yoga. And if you liked this video, please make sure you share, comment, subscribe, and then I will continue to meet you here on the mat.